So guess what, guys? It's almost new map time. It is the end of May, and every year in June, the Hunter Call of the Wild has a new map added to the game, and it is almost that time, and I don't know about you, but I am very, very excited. Today, we're gonna have a look at what it might look like if we were to get a Nunavut map, a Northern Canada map. We're gonna have a look at the possible species that would come on this map. Now, let me know in the comments, what dream map would you like to see come to the game more than anything else? And somewhere in the video, I am going to share a key phrase. Drop that in the comments for your chance to win a 1-month membership to the channel. All right, let's dive right into it. Big game hunting is a part of Nunavut's tourism industry for good reason. Nunavut features some of the most exotic and highly prized big game animals on Earth, including extremely dangerous polar bears, numerous herds of muskoxen, abundant barren ground caribou, a sustainable harvest of walrus, plus the healthiest and least threatened population of wolves in the world. In addition, there are plenty of small game animals such as Arctic hares, ground squirrels, and ptarmigan. Detailed knowledge of native wildlife species and proper survival techniques in the Arctic, combined with the incredible patience, tracking skill, physical strength, stamina, and courage required to become an effective hunter, are fundamental values in traditional Inuit culture. Now, one thing that would be absolutely imperative, in my opinion, to have on a brand new Arctic map would be either snowmobiles or dog sleds, or even both. I am greedy. I want them both. What can I say? So, snowmobiles provide a significant advantage in terms of speed and efficiency for covering vast distances and reaching hunting grounds. They have become the primary mode of transportation in many Arctic communities, replacing dog sleds in some areas. Snowmobiles are used for hunting various game, including caribou, muskox, seal, wolf, and polar bear, as well as for fishing and other activities. Wouldn't it be sweet to have snowmobiles in the game for over, I guess, 8 years now? The only mode of transportation in the game has been the four-wheeler. It is time for something new. Dog sleds have a long history in the Arctic, dating back thousands of years, and remain an important part of some Arctic cultures. Sled dogs have a keen sense of smell, allowing them to detect unstable ice conditions and track down game. Well, geez, I definitely want a sled dog with me if I were going to hunt in real life in an Arctic destination, because if they can tell where the ice is unstable, I'd say that's pretty darn important. Dog sleds are still used for hunting, particularly in areas with unstable ice or where snowmobiles are not practical. While snowmobiles are more common for transportation and hunting in many Arctic areas, dog sleds still play a valuable role, especially for their ability to navigate unstable ice and their cultural significance. Now, let's have a look at some of the species that we would absolutely have to have on a Nunavut map. Now, first and foremost, we would definitely have to have the polar bear. Polar bears are the world's largest carnivore species found on land, as big as the omnivorous Kodiak, but more powerful. Polar bears are an extremely dangerous, very patient, and highly intelligent predator. Polar bears are excellent swimmers in the frigid Nunavut waters, traveling great distances across the sea ice to hunt seals along the flow edge. They are attracted to any potential food source, including the smells of campers cooking meals in remote locations. Yeah, you definitely do not want to run into a polar bear while you are camping in real life. And I personally would love to see a great one polar bear. That would just blow my mind. That would be insane. Yes, please. So the next species we're going to look at that we would absolutely have to have on a Nunavut map would be the muskox. Now, muskoxen are magnificent animals from the Pleistocene Ice Age, noted for their long curved horns, thick coat, and the musky odor of the males in their mid-August rut. They are more closely related to sheep and goats than to oxen. Their ancestors migrated into Nunavut 150,000 years ago, alongside the now extinct mammoth. Approximately 60,000 muskoxen, usually living in herds of 10 to 20, can be found thriving in several parts of Nunavut. The wool of the muskox, called kiviot, is highly prized for its softness, length, and insulating quality. So having muskox on this map, this is a must-have. This is definitely not negotiable. Definitely need to have muskox on a Nunavut map. Now, the next species that we're going to look at is one that is already in the game, and that is the caribou. The most important terrestrial big game animal to the Inuit is the caribou, which has been hunted for food, clothing, shelter, and tools by humans ever since the Stone Age. Several herds totaling more than 750,000 caribou range across all three regions of Nunavut. The barren ground caribou subspecies is the most popular land animal to be hunted in the territory, and the migration patterns of these herds are well known to local Inuit hunters and guides. Then we have the walrus. The walrus is a large flippered marine mammal recognized by its prominent tusks of ivory, whiskers, and great bulk. An adult walrus can reach 4 meters or 13 feet in length and 2,000 kilograms or 4,400 pounds in weight. Holy, kind of insane. While cumbersome on land, these amazing creatures are truly graceful underwater. Walrus tusks, which are elongated canine teeth used for poking holes in the sea ice, for hauling themselves onto the frozen surface, and for the violent dominance battles between rival bulls, can reach a length of 1 meter of 3 feet 3 inches each. Then we have the Arctic wolf. The Arctic wolf, also called polar wolf or white wolf, is a subspecies of the gray wolf that has inhabited Nunavut for over 2 million years. This extraordinary canine is the only subspecies of wolf that can be found over the whole of its original range. It is also the only wolf in the world that is not threatened. That is pretty crazy. I didn't know that. Largely because they rarely encounter humans. Traveling and hunting in packs of 2 to 20, they roam large ranges of up to 2,600 square kilometers or 1,000 square miles in pursuit of caribou, musk oxen, Arctic hares, seals, lemmings, and ptarmigan. Extremely intelligent and very difficult to hunt, Arctic wolves can be tracked in the northern, central, and western parts of Nunavut. Now, the next species we're going to have a look at is one that I'm sure will be very popular. I have been hearing players want this species in the game for quite a while, and that is the ground squirrel. The Arctic ground squirrel is the largest and most northern dwelling ground squirrel species. This subfamily of tundra marmot lives in Arctic sand dunes and silt slopes that are free of permafrost. They grow to an average weight of 800 grams or 2 pounds. Squirrel hunting, a popular small game activity, offers an opportunity to harvest meat and enjoy the outdoors. Hunting squirrels can be done in various ways, including using a .22 rifle or shotgun with birdshot. Finding squirrels can involve scanning trees, watching for movement, and using quiet movement and patience. Now, the next species we're going to have a look at is the Arctic hare. The Arctic hare is found in all parts of Nunavut. Sometimes called a polar rabbit, it is actually a species of hare with longer ears that stands taller and survives in colder climate than rabbits do. With a beautiful, soft, thick coat, it grows to 5.5 kilos or 12 pounds and 70 centimeters or 28 inches in length. Usually they are seen wandering alone, but sometimes in very cold weather, they can be found in groups of several dozen huddled together for warmth. The Arctic hare moves quickly, up to 64 kilometers per hour or 40 miles per hour, to escape its natural predators, which include ermine, Arctic foxes, and Arctic wolves. If alternate game animals such as ptarmigan, seals, and caribou are readily available, Inuit hunters will often leave the Arctic hare alone in order to encourage the local population of wolves and foxes. That's very interesting. And then the next species is one that we do already have in the game, and that is the ptarmigan. The ptarmigan is a medium-sized game bird of the grouse family. It is the official territorial bird of Nunavut. Small flocks of this low-flying bird are often spotted traveling at speed just a foot or two off the ground. When they stop, they are so confident of their excellent camouflage, they sometimes do not move at all when hunters approach them. Skilled Inuit men, women, and children can often kill them by throwing stones at their small heads. Aw, poor guys. As accurately as any Major League Baseball pitcher. The ptarmigan is usually treated as a snack food on Inuit hunting and fishing expeditions. Often eaten raw as soon as it is killed. Really? Don't know if I'd be into that. They are found in all three regions of Nunavut. So those are the species that they mentioned on the Nunavut hunting website, but I have plenty more that I would love to see on this map. So let's continue. So the next species we're going to have a look at is the snow goose. These loud white and black geese can cover the ground in a snowy blanket as they eat their way across fallow cornfields or wetlands. Among them, you might see a dark form with a white head, a color variant called the blue goose. We definitely need those in the game. That would definitely be a rare and it would be super cool. Snow geese have skyrocketed in numbers and are now amongst the most abundant waterfowl on the continent. Snow goose hunting in the eastern US was stopped in 1916 because of low population levels. Hunting was allowed again in 1975 after populations had recovered. Since then, their populations have continued to grow to the point that some areas of tundra nesting habitat are starting to suffer. So there are plenty of snow geese to hunt. Then we have the Atlantic puffin. Now these are super cool, kind of funny looking seabirds. So a sharply dressed black and white seabird with a huge multicolored bill, the Atlantic puffin is often called the clown of the sea. Puffins dive into the water to catch their prey, usually within 30 meters of the water's surface, but they can dive down to 60 meters. They have serrated bills so they can hold their fish in place. One puffin was recorded holding 83 small sand eels in its bill at once. 83! Puffins are threatened by invasive species, including predators, pollution, food shortages caused by overfishing, and accidentally being caught in fishing nets. They are listed on the red list of UK birds of conservation concern. So these are definitely endangered, so maybe this is something they could have in limited numbers on the map. If they were to have them on the map, they're definitely absolutely beautiful birds. But let's move on. So the next species is the Arctic fox. The Arctic fox is much smaller, stouter, and more compact than other members of the fox family, which helps to reduce heat loss due to lower total body surface area. The thickness of the fur also increases for the winter season to help maintain a stable core body temperature and also survive the harsh, cold conditions of the Arctic. With the ability to physically adapt to survive winter, Arctic foxes never have to hibernate. In the winter, their fur morphs into the iconic thick white coating, but as summer arrives, snow melts, and Arctic foxes start to shed their long white coat to a shorter, thinner fur, which can come in a variety of colors from dark and light gray, charcoal brown, and bluish brown coating. So that is very cool. Wouldn't it be cool if they changed colors in the game? If they actually added seasons? Oh my gosh, that would absolutely melt my brain. I would love that. The next species is the wolverine. The wolverine is a large, robust carnivore and the largest land-dwelling member of the weasel family. They resemble a small bear with a bushy tail, round head, short rounded ears, and small eyes. It is muscular and a solitary animal. The wolverine has a reputation for ferocity and strength out of proportion to its size, with the documented ability to kill prey many times larger than itself. The wolverine usually weighs between 17 and 40 pounds, stands up to 1.5 feet tall, and is generally 33 to 44 inches long, including the tail. Males are larger than females. Now, for the species that weren't listed on the Nunavut species list, I started to type into the internet, can we hunt wolverines or whatever species? I typed in, can we hunt wolverines in Nunavut? And it reads, yes, it is possible to hunt wolverines in Nunavut. They are classified as both a fur bearer and a big game animal under the Nunavut Natural Lands Conservation Act. The government of Nunavut states that a conservation officer will issue you a license to hunt them if you provide evidence that the local hunting and trapping organization has approved it. So I don't know how difficult that is, but it is definitely possible to hunt for wolverines. Now, the next species is the ringed seal. Ringed seals make snow caves or layers above some breathing holes to rest and give birth. During the breeding season, male ringed seals' faces turn black and they have a strong gasoline smell. Ringed seals are the most common prey of polar bears. In fact, a polar bear may kill a ringed seal every 2 to 6 days. Ringed seals have a lifespan of 25 to 30 years. Adults average about 1.5 meters in length and weigh between 50 to 70 kilograms. They are the smallest species in the seal family. Ringed seals live in Arctic waters near ice floes and pack ice. They create a breathing hole in the ice, which lets them use ice habitats in unique ways. Can we hunt ringed seals in Nunavut? Yes, it is permitted to hunt ringed seals in Nunavut. Ringed seals are a crucial part of the Inuit diet and way of life, and hunting them is an important cultural and subsistence activity. However, there are regulations in place to ensure sustainable harvesting, and any commercial hunting of seals requires a license and compliance with the marine mammals regulations. So they definitely can be hunted. Now, the next species is definitely one that we already have in the game. We even have a great one for this species, and it is none other than the moose. Moose are the largest member of the deer family. A mature bull, a male moose, can stand as tall as 2 meters at the shoulder. That's as tall as some professional basketball players. Moose have big muscled bodies, but their legs are long and thin, which helps them walk through deep snow in winter and wade in ponds and lakes where they forage for plants during spring and summer. They are great swimmers. Swimming helps moose escape biting bugs such as mosquitoes and to cool off in the summer. Despite the moose's large size and broad antlers, it can travel silently through the forest. The moose's eyesight is poor, but they compensate for it with a good sense of smell and hearing. And when asked if they can be hunted in Nunavut, the answer is yes. Now, other possible species we could see on a Nunavut map would include narwhals, possibly beluga, or right whales. And reused species, as already mentioned, would be moose, rock ptarmigan, and the red fox. So there, in a nutshell, is a look at some pretty incredible species that I would love to see on a Nunavut map. I don't know if that's what we're getting, but I do hope this is something that comes to the Hunter Call the Wild at some point. But if you did enjoy the video, go ahead and splat that like button, and if you are new to the channel, be sure to hit that subscribe button for more videos just like this. And as always, thank you so much for watching. And I'm going to recommend that you click right here for the top 10 great ones we need in Call the Wild.